Why the 2024 Golden State Warriors are unbeatable. As you all know, the Golden State Warriors have made some big moves this offseason, and in today's video, we're going to be going through 5 reasons why the Golden State Warriors are going to win another NBA championship next season. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The first is Stephen Curry is going to have himself an MVP season, as it has been rumored he has been working harder than ever so far this offseason. As you all know, Stephen Curry has been playing at the highest level for so long, even at the age of 35 years old. It has been rumored by trainers and other officials that Stephen Curry has been taking this offseason very seriously, as he does think he has a chance of winning another NBA championship next season. Maybe it's due to the Chris Paul trade, or maybe it is other factors to take into consideration, but either way, Stephen Curry is looking like he has one mission and one mission only, and that is to win another NBA championship. As you all know, last season, Steph Curry still averaged 29.4 points, 6.3 assists, and 6.1 rebounds. Now, the most impressive thing about this stat is that he was actually averaging the most rebounds he has ever averaged in his whole career, and on top of that, his points hasn't actually diminished so far. If anything, it's actually his third highest scoring season, and his assist numbers have stayed exactly the same. So even if we look back at supposedly the peak Steph Curry years of 2015 and 2016, he was putting up pretty much the same numbers that he is today, and that is probably the most scary thing about Stephen Curry. Even at the age of 35, it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon, and he is still one of a top 5 players in the league even at 35 years of age. His 3-point percentage has honestly been skyrocketing, as he has been averaging 42% from the 3, but what's different about this season is that he was actually taking 11.5 3-point attempts per game, and his effective field goal percentage was one of the highest he has ever had at 61%. So Stephen Curry has only been getting better and is aging like fine wine, and I think he needs to be playing at the highest level possible if the Golden State Warriors want a chance of winning another NBA championship. But I do have a lot of confidence in Stephen Curry, if he stays healthy, that he will be able to get the job done, as he did play a majority of the season playing 56 games. So we might see that same load management next season, but I think what's so interesting is that trainers have actually been rumored to say that Stephen Curry has put about 5 to 10 pounds of muscle. Now, I don't know if this is true, but if it is true, I honestly think Stephen Curry is not only just going to be as strong as an ox, but I think his defense would honestly improve drastically. Stephen Curry has actually been getting bigger as of recently, and you definitely see that in the strength that he has in the paint when it comes to defending players, but I do believe that if he has added 5 to 10 pounds of extra muscle, he would honestly be very unstoppable on defense, as he has the strength to stay in front of some of the best guards in today. So I do believe that Stephen Curry has been working hard, and we are about to see a new Steph Curry that we have never seen before. The second is the Golden State Warriors drafting a lethal scorer in Brandon Podziemski. Now, as you all know, Brandon Podziemski was actually drafted 19th overall pick, and a lot of people were skeptical when the Golden State Warriors took him. But I do believe that Brandon is honestly a lethal scorer, and he is probably one of the most underrated picks in this year's draft. Now, he did recently play for WCC's Santa Clara, and he did a fantastic job where he actually averaged 19.9 points, 8.8 rebounds, and also 3.7 assists. So he was putting up some big numbers, which I think surprised a lot of people, and even at the height of 6'5" as a guard, he was still averaging 8.8 rebounds. What I do believe we have here is a situation where we have a Gary Payne II that can score, and I think that is something that is so important. He's definitely a defensive stopper, and even though he may not look it, he's an absolute bucket all around. I do believe he has a confidence that Golden State Warriors definitely are looking for when it comes to him on the scoring end of things. He has that confidence to score, he has that confidence on defense, and sometimes drafting a player based on mindset can definitely pay dividends in the future. Now, a part of Brandon's game that definitely got overlooked by a lot of NBA teams and coaches was definitely his 3-point shooting. Now, Brandon actually averaged 5.8 attempts in Santa Clara, and he was shooting 44% from the 3. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 44%. That is honestly insane. He is putting up NBA type numbers from the 3-point line, and I don't have any issue that he will be able to translate that into the NBA. I think he is a fantastic shooter, and not only on the 3-point line, but he also had a 2-point field goal percentage of 51%, which I think is great, and an overall effective field goal percentage of 48%. So he did a fantastic job this season, and I do believe with his intangibles and his young mindset, he can definitely help this team in more ways to none. What I love most about him is that he does have that defensive mindset that I do think is very important, efficient, but on top of that, he can definitely give you a bucket. So he's definitely a two-way type player, which is something that the Golden State Warriors have loved over the years. We've seen so many two-way players come into Golden State Warriors and do fantastic. Otto Porter Jr., JTA, also now that we have him back, Gary Payne II. So there are a lot of two-way players that the Golden State Warriors absolutely love, and I think Brandon will be a perfect fit for what the Golden State Warriors are trying to do. So at 6'5", 200 pounds, I think he will do fantastic, and he also has the guidance of some of the greatest players and greatest shooters in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And on top of that, now that Chris Paul is a part of this team, it is going to be very interesting to just see the progression of Brandon and how he's going to be able to suit fit. But I think he will do a great job for the Warriors, and even if he does get 5, 10, 15 minutes off the bench, I think he can be very effective, as he is a very efficient scorer and also plays great defense. So that is something about Brandon that I think will definitely translate into the NBA and can help this Warriors team win. The third is that the Golden State Warriors are very close to signing Dwight Powell. Now I think this is something that is going to change the NBA, because Dwight Powell could honestly be coming to the Golden State Warriors very soon. He was rumored to actually join the team a couple of days ago, but now it is looking like contract talks have been now up in the air. Now when it comes to Dwight Powell, he's 6'10", 240 pounds. He plays that great center and power forward position, but he also has the speed of a guard, which I think is fantastic. Now in the most recent season with the Dallas Mavericks, he averaged 6.7 points, 4.1 rebounds, and also 0.9 assists. Now he is great when it comes to the defensive side of things. He did a fantastic job defending some of the best big men in the NBA, but on top of that, he has a great field goal percentage of 73%. So he did a great job for the Dallas Mavericks, and I think he can definitely add that when it comes to joining this Golden State Warriors team. Now Dwight Powell isn't too much of a scorer, but what I think he definitely does provide is that inside presence that the Golden State Warriors definitely need, especially off the bench. Kevon Looney definitely does it for the starting five, and he does a fantastic job at that, but when it comes to the bench, they definitely need that defensive presence that JaMychal Green can't really do most of the time. JaMychal Green is a great big, do not get me wrong, but he's more of an outside presence when it comes to his three-point scoring. They need someone that can be that defensive anchor in the paint and block shots left, right, and center, and no one does it better than Dwight Powell. I think Dwight Powell, we can also get him for cheap, which I think is fantastic, and he also averaged 0.3 blocks per game. So what's great about Dwight Powell is that although they are looking to get Dwight Powell, if they end up signing him, they can still have enough money to re-sign Draymond Green, which has been on a lot of people's mind. It does seem that Draymond Green is very close to re-signing with the Golden State Warriors, and it does seem that it is going to be a given, but if that's the case, they still have enough money to get another player, and Dwight Powell can definitely fit that bill. Dwight Powell has also made it very known that he is interested in playing in a championship team, whether it's with Dallas or whether it was with Golden State Warriors, so I think that's a great fit sign or a great thing to look at. When it comes to Dwight as well, he is 31 years of age, so he's definitely in his peak years of playing basketball, and I think now is probably the perfect time to get him. Dwight can definitely fit the system, and what he does most out of all these players is definitely his team play type basketball. He isn't looking to be a selfish player where he has to drop 10, 20, 30 points per game. All he's looking is to do what he is capable of doing and do the job that he was given. And I think he did a fantastic job for the Dallas Mavericks last season, and I think it would be fantastic to see him team up with some of the great players that the Golden State Warriors have, such as Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and now even Chris Paul. The fourth is the addition of Chris Paul. Now this may come to a surprise to a lot of NBA fans, but I believe that Chris Paul to the Golden State Warriors is a great trade. A lot of people thought, it's not going to work out. Chris Paul's a point guard. He's not going to want to come off the bench, but it has been rumored, and it also been said in most recent interviews with Chris Paul that he is going to be willing to do anything to help this team win. As you all know, what I love most about CP3 is that he is 38 years old, and he is looking to win that final thing, which is an NBA championship. And I think now in his career, he's not looking to be the star where he drops 30, 40 points per game. He just wants that ring, and he wants to help any team that is able to do it. Don't get me wrong, Chris Paul is a great player, but I do believe that he has the capability of winning an NBA championship if he's with a team like the Warriors. He is a 12-time All-Star, 5-time assist champ, 6-time steal champ, and I think Chris Paul can do a fantastic job and provide a lot for this team. Now, Chris Paul averaged this season 13.9 points, 4.3 rebounds, and also 8.9 assists. And I definitely think he can run that second unit very well, and he can really provide the guidance that Jordan Poole just wasn't really able to give. And I think the most important thing about his game that a lot of people definitely slept on, especially this season, was definitely his three-point shooting. His three-point shooting actually honestly drastically increased from, let's say, his rookie season where he only averaged 28% from the three, and this season he averaged 38% from the three. Yes, guys, you heard that right, 38%. That is honestly insane. The last time he put up those numbers was back in his LA Clipper days, and I do believe that Chris Paul has actually gotten better and aged like fine wine as well. His effective field goal percentage is great as well for a point guard at 52%, but I think his leadership is definitely the intangible thing that he provides a lot to, especially to this team. The Golden State Warriors like to play a free flow type basketball, but I do believe when it comes to Chris Paul, he's going to be able to add that structure and help this team win more games. The fifth is the increased role of Moses Moody. Now, as you all know, Jonathan Kuminga has supposedly been on the trading block, and the Golden State Warriors are looking to make a move to trade him to somewhere else. And if that's the case, it may give Moses Moody the opportunity to get a lot more minutes and have a higher usage rate. And we did see that this season, especially in the playoffs where Kuminga wasn't actually playing and it was more of Moses Moody, and we may see the same situation again this next upcoming season. Now, he was part of the 2022 NBA Championship Warriors, and I do believe now that he has been getting a lot more minutes, he will continue to shine and continue to become a great player. In the most recent season, he averaged 4.8 points. He also averaged 1.7 rebounds and 0.7 assists, while also shooting 36% from the three and an effective field goal percentage of 60%. So Moses Moody is a very efficient player, and I think that's what the Golden State Warriors and Steve Kerr definitely loved about him. And I think this upcoming season, now that he will probably get a lot more minutes since Jonathan Kuminga may be going and Dante DiVincenzo may not re-sign, and if that's the case, we could see Moses Moody break out into a great star.